What are you doing?
Nothing.
You're eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Where did it come from? No, that's not what I mean. I mean, if we got popcorn back,
Yeah.
if that note that we had is true, then that means I didn't vote Tory. Did you vote Tory?
I didn't vote at all.
But you're the one with the popcorn.
Wasn't it? But no, it's not my fault.
I think it's just going to be us here from now on.
Maybe movies.
I'm just staring at a page. There's writing on it. You can see that, can't you? See there's writing. Whew, hello. It's Friday. We are back again to look at the second of our theoretical movies for the month, in which we take Professor Cavor, Kate, and I can never remember his...
Bedford.
Bedford. Of course it is.
Albert? Alex? No, I can't remember. Something A.
Our three intrepid adventurers are going to use Cavorite to travel not to the moon.
Not to the moon.
Before we jump into this, a very quick shout out today for our old friend Christopher from Petrichor Studios. Hello mate, I hope you're okay. Channel's looking good at the moment. I also noticed as well that he's actually changed the name of his channel. So it's not Petrichor Studios anymore. It's oh god, what was it? Oh, that's it. The Alien Boy Art.
Interesting. Show me more.
But he does a lot of, again, drawing artist content, most of it done digitally, like
Yes.
digital drawing, with lots of hints and tips for budding artists out there. So if you want to brush up on your game, then do go and check out the Alien Boy Art.
Definitely worth your time.
And of course, all the usual, if you're new to the channel, then thank you for stopping by, and please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be kept apprised of new content.
Please do. Oh, so...
First things first, I take it then we are just going to allow, because movie, that this happens to be happening in the same year as Halley's Comet is passing by.
Yes.
Because as we worked out last time, there's like a 12-year gap between when the original film is set and when Halley's Comet actually passed.
Yeah, and I don't think it's not that huge a leap. It's only 10 years, and there's not that much of a massive leap in technology in that period of time. So I don't think it matters that much.
Okay, so we're going to set it in 1911?
Yes, absolutely.
We want to have this one start in the same way as First Men in the Moon starts, with the space mission heading out there.
It kind of pleases me to have it mirror it, which it's intriguing. So that means that there's a 1986 space mission to investigate Halley's Comet.
Yeah, and I was trying to think, and again, I know it's again allowing, it's that kind of suspension of disbelief, but in the same way that in the same way it's a massive coincidence that that moon landing just happens to land a few hundred yards from where they left the flag. Maybe they come across something. I was trying to think, maybe it's like one of their diving bell helmets kind of floating near the vessel itself with a warning message. Because obviously they need to be able to find something that they can then transmit to Earth before they lose contact with Earth. So we can then get a parody of all of the press and that, and the scientists trying to follow this storyline back, which brings them into meeting Bedford and then hearing his story, and we go into flashback.
It's a lovely idea to do that, but on the other hand, unless we severely alter the plot line of what would be Life Force, there's no way on Earth that no one would know that aliens came to Earth in 1910.
See, that's the thing. And the only way I could think around that is we kind of have to possibly stray a little bit into Hammer horror territory and have those events were very localised. So only the people who survived it would know about it.
It's a very Lovecraftian way of doing it. Yes, it's just nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
It was so terrible that no one ever talked about it. Yeah, I think we want that central conceit to the film because it's a nice wraparound.
It is, and it feeds nicely into the fantastical elements of both of these films.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so much just craziness that's just like, yeah, okay, that's fine, that's a thing.
Yes.
So all we see, we don't actually know that they lose contact with Earth. All we know is that they transmit scans or images of what they found back to Earth, and then we follow that storyline on.
1910. Hadn't Marconi done his experiments by then?
Yes.
So it's not a letter. It's a radio transmission.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Shiny. Yes, because that allows them to get incredibly close because they'd be standard radio waves and they wouldn't pick them up from that far out.
That is cool. So they send that back. And then, however, the writers decide to do it because it'll be them, not us. They can follow that. They can follow the breadcrumbs that will lead them to the retirement home.
To Bedford.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shall we say they find their way to the retirement home with the survivor, in case it turns out that Bedford isn't the survivor?
Yes. Good point. I was assuming. So we've tracked down the survivor.
And, oh my god, they're in terrible danger.
Yes.
And then goes into the story. I suppose we will get a slightly truncated version of the first act of the original film.
I feel like they need to launch off a little earlier in our version of the story to make give everything else time to play out.
Absolutely. And I know we discussed in the pitch meeting as well, again, because we can just allow that the Cavor sphere is slightly larger than we see it in the original film.
Yes.
Because we have to account for the fact that
we need to fit the coffin in.
Yes.
Things like that, yeah.
I mean, even that, I know we'll get more into that in Act 2. I did sort of have a thought that because the diving bell is so small and if they couldn't fit the coffin in, but at least one of them does the thing where they possess one of them on the way back to Earth.
Oh.
Because my thinking was, I think we have to assume that their technology is advanced enough that that's what's causing the radio blackout with Earth when they get close to the ship. So they must be able to read at least the level of technology in the vessel approaching them. Which they would know that the Cavor sphere has no way of tracking beyond, say, visual range. So all of the ship has to do is stay out of visual range of the sphere as it's coming back. So they're never so far away that she loses contact, but breaks the connection because her body's so far away.
I see.
And then they can just follow them straight back to Earth.
I noticed you say her.
Only because she's the one who does it in Life Force. Or the one that we most focus on in Life Force.
I do not want to miss Matilda May's performance, please, and thank you very much. As much as that's an interesting idea, I'd want to leave that till later. Maybe when they get back to Earth.
Fair enough.
That could happen.
Yeah, but that's obviously for the next act, isn't it? Because this one, again, we have all of that stuff that happens to in a lot shorter period of time. Sorry,
folks, we've kind of jumped against ourselves because we know what we're talking about. The audience doesn't know what we're talking about. In the original film, we have the development of the Cavorite and launching the mission out into space. Now, presumably, they were initially going to go to the moon because that was their original plan. But there's a sequence within First Man on the Moon when, due to a small accident, one of the shutters gets opened and they get blasted quite far off course. They get in this version of things, instead of being blasted into the course of the sun, they're going to be blasted into the course of Halley's Comet.
So that would be quite nice when they suddenly realise where it is that they're going. And so Cavor will be like, well, actually, does some calculations. It's not that far. We can make it. We could probably do it. We'll have to spend a little bit less time than we were originally intending, but it's within reach. This is more fascinating. The moon's always there. This is only here maybe once every 75 years.
Yeah, it's totally within Cavor's character. Yeah.
Are we then saying that we're going to keep the level of humour in this as it is in First Men in the Moon? I mean, I know it kind of changes into it as the film goes, but we're happy with that level of silliness.
At least for the first act, yeah, absolutely.
Good. Yes, because it's a nice juxtaposition with what's to come.
Yeah.
I guess then we end the act with them coming in sight of the ship, I suppose.
No. It would need to end with them leaving the ship.
Okay, you want to go that far? Okay.
Yeah, because We need this to go back to Earth at some point. And the sooner we do that, the less problems we'll cause ourselves in our narrative. Like, well, we don't have enough supplies to get back to the moon on this, but my God, what will people say when we show them this when we get back home?
One thing that I would like to keep, and again, I don't know, not that I've got anything kind of in mind of using it, but I just think it's a nice little detail from First Men in the Moon. Cavorite itself.
Yeah.
Because the Selenites don't know what it is and can't reproduce it.
Oh, yeah.
I like its uniqueness within this.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that, they've got there through something that is uniquely ours, that they cannot replicate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so, where do you want to go with that?
I don't know yet. I just like it because it's just such a nice little detail. It makes Cavorite in itself, and by extension Cavor as an inventor, just a little bit more unique.
Yep. I'm just wondering how we show that.
I'll have an answer for you later in the film.
Maybe they just, like, when they're inspecting the ship, they realise there's no signs of anything like Cavorite on the ship. Could be a way of doing it.
But the other problem with this is they've got no way of stopping.
This could get very messy towards the end.
So we'd have to do it that in the same way like he has different screens to switch on and switch off gravitational forces.
Yeah.
I suppose you'd have to do that against the gravity of Halley's Comet to slow them down.
Yeah, I kind of imagine them just accidentally drifting through the tail of the comet and going, you can imagine the nebula that's coming off the tail of the comet and then slowly it coming clear as they pass through it.
Yeah, which is a nice shot as they're kind of spinning through, looking at the window with all the ice bouncing off the sphere itself, and then it's there. So again, we'd replace the four of them that go in with just Cavor and Bedford.
Have to have somebody back at the sphere, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that would all have to be the same. I mean, the sphere is a lot small. I mean, I know we've said it's bigger, but either way, it's still going to be smaller than the Churchill. We could even allow for the sphere to go further in than the Churchill does.
Because it's so much smaller.
Yeah. So that it could go right, so all three of them get to see the bat-like creatures and things like that, and they only actually leave the sphere to go to the coffin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so she'd get to see most of it. Yeah.
Have a nice little sequence where they basically where they try and turn the sphere up so they can just lower it on the coffin and then lift it out.
That's one of those ones we could just hand wave with the Because movie.
Yeah.
Although it's a very funny way of doing it.
And then they leave and head back.
Yes, yeah.
But this is where things are going to get a bit tricky, because we might lose people on the way back, because it's a few days there and back either way.
I was going to say, we should probably almost see immediately, as soon as they get the coffins inside the sphere, that Kate is unusually affected. Like, I just can't stop staring at one of the boys.
And in the same way, obviously Bedford is looking at Matilda May.
Yeah.
And Cavor's the only one unaffected.
And probably looking alarmed at both of them as they speed off into the depths of space back towards Earth.
Yes. I mean, this, again, just an idea. What I was saying there about having one of the vampires possess one of the humans, this might be a time to drop that in, to stave off her having to feed. She possesses somebody else. I don't know if that would make any difference. I don't know how much...
I don't know why you want to do that. Because every time you suggest doing that, you're cutting Matilda May from the movie.
Only for the journey back is what I'm suggesting. To give them time to get back is what I'm thinking. Because otherwise,
but then we have to explain that.
But if she has to feed, then we're going to lose all of our protagonists before they go back to Earth. I'm just saying, because movie, if she's possessing somebody else, her need to feed is restricted. So at least that way we can get back to Earth, and then she can leave it in her own body and go and do what she wants to do. I guess. Again, we don't have to decide now. It's just a suggestion. We've got until the next episode.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look at next act. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's a bullshit thing. What I'm suggesting, but it's a way of getting around the fact that, as we know in the Churchill, in the 3 months, whatever it is that it takes them to get back to Earth, she goes through the entire crew. At least this way, we can just say, all right, well, if she's possessing a human body, the desire or the requirement to feed is restricted to allow them.
But you're ignoring the fact that we are no longer 3 months out from Earth. It didn't take them 3 months to get to Halley's Comet, because otherwise their entire first act doesn't make sense. How would they possibly have survived a month in space?
No, it does say in the film that it's a 3-month trip.
Yes, I know, but that's because they were going out
yes.
to meet Halley's Comet, but it comes in closer. That's why I genuinely thought the journey was too short for it to actually matter that much.
But then we're done.
I think we are, yes. But, yep, I think we've reached the end of the first act.
Okay.
For what it's worth, your suggestion about taking over Kate's body isn't a bad idea, but I would suggest that's what she does when they return to Earth, as an easy way to get away. I would totally argue for that being a thing.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, again, we'll be looking at that next week.
Yes.
So come back, please do, and join us on Wednesday when we'll be looking at Act 2 of Firstforce.
Firstforce. Probably not the best name ever, but what can we do?
Who comes up with these, eh?
We work with what we've got, don't we?
Exactly. Until then, as always, have a great weekend, have a great start to next week, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.